From the Teddy Belanger studio in Rome, New York. Welcome into episode 87 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name is Todd Emanuele. We've got Ryan Boyles alongside of me and a very special guest back for his second appearance on the show. Way back on episode 50, he said he wanted to come back and do a year in review of what he called the Year of the Avetts 2024. Dolphus Ramseur is here. Dolph, thank you so much for coming back on, taking some time with us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. So I was number 50, and I'm number 87. I graduated high school in 1987. Boy,
well, that's perfect. There you go.
That's amazing.
I planned that. I totally planned that on purpose. So way back episode 50 last year, you were hinting at things that were happening. Like we didn't know Swept Away was going to be on Broadway yet. We knew it was coming out and all that stuff. Had no idea how it was going to do. The new album was coming. All this other stuff been going on. You wanted to do a year in review, so tell me, was it a successful 2024 for the Avett Brothers in your eyes?
Oh, it was a great year. Great year. Busy, but great. And we had the Avetts, the puppets added to the mix as well. So we've had a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that was on the list of topics to get to. Because we kind of want to pick your brain about that. I know Ryan has some not theories, but some ideas for the puppets, right? For the next season, and he's talked about a little bit during the shows. But let's start first with the new album that came out, way back when. It seems like now
Grammy nominated for the artwork.
Absolutely, another topic that I wanted to touch on.
Right.
Grammy nominated. Do you wish they were nominated more for the music? I mean, the artwork's amazing.
I mean, for sure, but yeah, but I always sort of, Jimi Hendrix didn't win a Grammy, so some of this stuff, I don't. That's not why we do it.
Right.
So, I mean, the accolades would be nice. I mean, I feel Scott's artwork has always been number one. I mean, he's the best since a guy named, and his name might be wrong, but his last name, I might have it wrong, but his guy named Peter Saville. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but he did all the factory records things in the late 70s, early 80s for like Joy Division. And his artwork, did New Order's records as well. Like if you look at his artwork, Scott's on that level. So long overdue the praise for Scott and his artwork, and something I think we've always prided ourselves in is the artwork that we have put in the care we've put into the records.
And the artwork
that takes me back. That takes me back to high. So that takes me back to high school because I was Cure, Joy Division, all those were that was my high school years, and so that you're right. The art has persevered because I think my 23-year-old son wears a Joy Division shirt with that classic album cover on it, even to this day.
Yeah, I was a massive Bunnymen fan, and if you look at the artwork, the first 4 covers of Echo and the Bunnymen, unmatched. It was that great. So anyway, but. Do I wish they would get more praise on the music? For sure. I mean, I think We Are Loved is a what a song,
beautiful song,
great work of art.
But the album itself, like thinking back to the first time I opened it up and just the texture of the cover and all the artwork inside, it's spectacular. I've never seen anything like it.
That's the best I've ever held in my hand.
Yeah.
And I've been collecting records now.
Long time, right?
45 years or so. So
a few years,
yeah. So it's really special. I mean, I knew when I of course when you design, when this stuff is being designed, you sort of don't know until you have it in your hands.
Right.
And I remember when I got a sample of it, I was like, wow, this is way beyond my expectations. It was that great.
A lot of people would say that like that's a casualty of the digital era of, not having that sort of care when it comes to either, you could even say music videos or art, album covers or all those things. And that's, to me, that is really what sets Scott and the band apart.
Yeah.
Who were they nominated up against? I didn't even think to look that up. Do you know?
I can't remember now. I can't.
I gotta look that up because I want to see what the other albums look like.
Yeah.
I will be doing that in the background while you guys chat.
Oh, are you? Okay, that's cool. But yeah, it's what an honor to be nominated for that. What is Scott's thought on it? He must be excited by that, right?
Yeah, we definitely were all excited about it and happy, because also in tandem with Scott is a guy named Johnny, who Scott worked with on the artwork.
Mm.
So, and they also designed the website, and so it's been a big team kind of effort. Yeah, I've got high hopes that it will bring home some trophies for Scott and
well-deserved hardware. Years of work put into that.
Yes.
So,
and the record. I mean, I love Cheap Coffee forever, and it's hard for me to say what my favorite. Of course, I love We Are Love.
Definitely.
So, but I feel the record's real proud of it.
Will they play Same Broken Bones live in 2025?
I do not know, and I probably will not ask them. So
you got a little smirk there, though. I
really don't know. I with those things, every blue moon I'll put a request in, but that's just for my own kind of. I love All My Mistakes.
Great song.
Oh, I love that song. Oh, I mean, yeah.
We had to ask that question because it's honestly become a question we ask everyone that we have on the show now, just as a running thing. Because it is honestly, it's my wife's favorite song on the record. So
great,
we love it.
Great. And another thing, I was asked this yesterday. I never ask them what the songs are about.
Mm-hmm.
And people always are, what's that song about? And I don't want to know, because I put it in my own context. I use it for my own sort of pleasure, and I just don't want. That's why I love music so much, because if you go see a movie, and I like movies and books, but movies have an ending and books are spelled out to you.
Right.
Where music, you can put your own sort of every person maybe hears it a different way.
It's so true. It's funny. I'm the opposite, though. I like to know what it's about. So that would be my first question to them: is what is that song about? Where were you when you wrote it? What were you thinking?
But I would argue, though, I'm firmly with Dolph in this camp that the best art is open to interpretation, and I love ambiguity. I love whether it's in films or art or what have you. I will say I love just understand how things are made. So I really enjoyed May It Last for that, seeing behind the scenes. And so for me, like, I'm a big movie or film nerd, and I love all the behind the scenes. Like, I have books on my bookshelf back here about how films are made. So I love that. But when you watch something or when you hear something, like you said, I really appreciate that interpretation that you can have.
It's funny. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, when in May It Last, Ryan just brought up May It Last.
Yes.
You say toward the end of it that some of their songs you like to sit in the dark and listen to.
Yeah,
is All My Mistakes one of those?
Oh, no doubt. We Are Love, No Hard Feelings. And by the way, the No Hard Feelings thing. So this has been talked about quite a bit. So, I mean, I even know Rick Rubin was on a podcast talking about I don't even know if it'd be called a dust up, but the conversation that Scott and Seth had at the end of No Hard Feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do know. So I was in a control room when that was being recorded.
Oh, man.
And Rick and I knew that song was about to be recorded, so we knew that it was coming. and we sort of had a little bit of we kind of had a moment there in the studios, not on film, just because of what a moment that was. I mean, I tell people other than my kids being born, I mean, that's one of the greatest moments I've ever been a part of.
Wow.
Being there when that was recorded. So when the crew when the song finishes and Scott and Seth stay in the studio and Rick goes out to ask them, well, what's next? I'm the one that gets everybody clapping. You hear the applause.
Yeah.
Because I just knew that was just a magical moment.
Did that startle them though? I mean, in that moment.
Well, I think that then caused, Scott to wonder why would they be celebrating a song but then again, Scott also, I think Scott would be the first to say that, after about a week in a studio, Scott gets a little bit where he's on edge. And this is probably 2 weeks into the process.
Oh, man.
I think if that was recorded on the second day of the session, that would have been a totally different kind of conversation. So we kind of laugh about that. And I know that there's, yes, it's.
Well, I think I heard Seth on Dax Shepard's podcast. It's been a while back, but he tried to diffuse the whole story too and put context on it.
It was we sort of know that Scott, it's just kind of funny. It really to us it is, but that was sort of captured. And I think Scott, I've talked to him about it. He sort of feels, gosh, I hate that kind of transpired because that's not really me. It was sort of it was not necessarily the pressure of it. It was just when you're again, it's like. Scott and I both probably would not be good boat. We would not be good Navy being on a boat for so long. We would probably go almost nuts. But yeah, it's just that it's sort of been a funny kind of thing. And I finally, just recently, I told Seth that I was the one that got everybody clapping.
I was going to say, you instigated that whole thing.
I instigated the whole thing.
But I will say, like, it was obviously, I mean, it was emotional for Seth. When you see him perform and you see at the end, he kind of just like, you see this like thing wash over him.
Yeah.
And he like exhales and he like takes out his handkerchief and like wipes his brow. Like he'll do that in concerts. But I mean, you could tell it was like a moment for him that he needed to kind of, it was
beautiful.
It washed over him, and then I've seen him do that when he performs it live. Like it's an intense song to perform. I'm sure.
Now,
at any moment.
Did they do that in one take? That was just one take.
One take. I always kid with people that on Seth's deathbed he'll be known as the writer of singer of No Hard Feelings. Then I also kid with Seth that. I don't know, for about a week, Dane was out there for like the first 5 to 6 days. And then I came out and spelled Dane. And during my duration out there, my task was to make Seth like these hot teas just to help him sing, And so I kid with Seth that, I probably should be on the liner notes. There should be an asterisk that I'm a part of that song and just making the hot tea for him.
Well, you can't be taking those extra jobs away from Joe. Like Joe gets really sensitive about that, right?
I think he's pretty secure at this.
What a great moment that was.
It was.
That was a beautiful thing. And I had to sit on that song for about, I mean, that maybe was in the can for well more than a year. And I had a friend that was going through cancer, and I so wanted to play that song for him. And I just didn't want to let the cat out of the bag and have that song somehow get out, because but I wish that song on certain people, because I just knew it would have been great medicine for them.
And Seth just told the story on one of the recent TV interviews about when he wrote the song.
It was in Statesville, North Carolina, I think.
And he's talking about driving and coming up with the words and crying.
Yeah.
I'm getting an echo. You hear that echo?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it.
Oh, okay. But anyway, he told that I've never heard him tell that story before. That, people say, oh, they always play No Hard Feelings at the end of a show, blah, blah, blah. It's time for something new. But that song means so much to him and them that I get it. And that when he told that story, I really it hit me yeah. I mean, that's the song to end the show with. It's perfect.
Yeah, I know that. So when that either before it was recorded or right after, Rick and I were talking, and Rick felt like that was a song that Sam Cooke would have sung. Mm-hmm. It's kind of this R&B type. It would. So I've sent the song to Gregory Porter. I don't know if y'all know who he is, but I never got any traction. Seth's a big fan of him. He's a great singer. I wanted someone to do an R&B version of the song because I think it's worthy of that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, somebody needs to cover that song. It's just masterpiece.
Bound to happen, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Going back to the album again, the new album. I got to thank you for letting me do a listening party. I never really got a chance to thank you for it. That was so cool to do that night. I had 100 people on there a couple days before the album came out to be able to play that for them and me for the first time to hear it. That was a lot of fun. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I like those kind of things.
All right. So lots of other stuff to talk about here during the year. So we want to touch on Swept Away. I mean, it's kind of and unbelievable. Walk me through the whole thing with this run to Broadway. It's such a cool story.
Well, this run to Broadway started about 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And the producer reached out to me about 10 years ago. Then I pitched the guys on the idea, and so it's been that kind of journey. You start those things. We started it out in Berkeley. Then it went to DC, and you do that to get the kinks out of the shows.
Sure.
And then it made it to Broadway and got a great review in the New York Times. It got a critics pick. It is coming down from Broadway on December 29th. It got extended for 2 weeks when the show was supposed to end this past weekend.
Right. Which is rare, right? That doesn't happen all that often.
No, it doesn't. And, I don't know. I'm sort of, I'm so close to it and so devastated by it.
Yeah.
But then I'm proud that I would love to know what the odds of a show even making it to Broadway are.
Exactly.
So I understand that aspect of it, but I also understand that we set records in DC with the show at the Arena Stage venue there. So I think this thing could find a home out on the roads in America. I think it could, it could do well where the brothers have followings.
Sure.
But and in some ways, I think that Broadway is not caught up to the show. And it's a very, Broadway for what it is, for what it's worth. It's a lot of light. I don't want to say it's lightweight stuff, but Swept Away is a very dark and brooding kind of musical compared to most.
Right.
And so I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's over yet as far as, I'm going to try my best to get this thing to where we can take it to the people.
Yeah. Well, how does that happen?
Well, from what I understand, and listen, I've learned so much on this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's a lot more I have to learn, but the touring, there's certain companies that take shows, they license them and they take them around America.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where y'all live, but y'all probably have a performing arts sort of theater.
Sure.
Yeah. That brings in, the Lion King and it might play a week. So that's what we're hoping, that we could take this around America. And maybe another thought is to have it play in England.
Oh, wow.
And it would play a regional kind of theater before going to the West End. That's sort of their Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I'm not, there's not a white flag being hoisted yet. So we're going to keep trying our best to see if we can get this.
That's awesome. I think I would love to see that. My wife and I were just talking about, like, wouldn't it be awesome if it went on the road around the country? I mean, my father's on the board for the symphony in Winston-Salem with the theater there, and I could definitely see it doing really well in these areas.
Well, I think I always tell people, like, what's funny is like when for May at Last, going to bed, the film, that Judd Apatow and Mike Bonfiglio that they directed, co-directed. When Judd turned me on to this company, introduced me to this company called Oscilloscope, and it's Adam, from the late Adam, that was a member of the Beastie Boys. It was his company, and I think he started it to showcase like music films, documentaries. And it's morphed a little bit into music films, plus they do some independent films. But when I had my first conversation with them, they were like, well, we're going to try to get this in 115 movie theaters around America. Like, I don't know if y'all recall this, but that was shown in movie theaters one night.
Sure.
Yep.
And so I said, well, what's the record? And they said, well, it's LCD Sound System has the record. They set the record for the one night only music documentary, and it was about LCD Sound System's last show at Madison Square Garden, and they were calling it quits. Now they have since come back from that, but so I said, well, LCD, they're going to beat us in New York, LA, and Chicago. But if you get into the Columbus, Ohio's of the world, and Huntsville, Alabama's, and places where the brothers have toured a lot, I think we'll do pretty well. And I told them, I think we can really double, maybe triple that number. And they kept saying, oh, no. Well, sure enough, when we announced that, what happened is our fans started going to all their movie theaters, and all these people started requesting this film. And we got it into 350 movie theaters, and we set the record. And we might still have the record for a music. I know we beat both Pearl Jam, Chris Brown. We beat their documentaries.
Was Taylor Swift? I would say Taylor Swift wasn't a one night thing, right?
I don't think it was one night. No. So that definitely would have blown us out of the water. But I think this musical, the reason I bring that up, and I've brought that up to the producers of the musical, because I think the fans will speak. They will
absolutely.
They will go to their local performing arts theaters and start requesting this.
I'm sure you've seen Avett fans are awesome and extremely loyal and will support anything that you guys do. So,
I mean, I remember vividly going to see May at Last in the movie theater in Durham, North Carolina, and at the Carolina Theater, which, not even a normal movie theater. It's a nice, old school place.
Were you there when Scott spoke that day?
I don't think so.
Because I think we went there. Well, I know I went with Scott, where I met Scott up there because he spoke after.
I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah,
it
might have been shown a couple nights, but
no, it was
one night it was shown and he spoke there. So,
Yeah.
You've been to so many Avett concerts and Avett shows and things.
The energy. I'm just saying the energy of that crowd, and the thing about it is, I think May It Last really expanded the fan base. I mean, I often will tell people who don't know the band, go to HBO or go to wherever and watch May It Last, and people are like blown away. They're floored after seeing that, because a lot of people love seeing documentaries as well, but beyond that, it's a wonderful introduction to the music. And I think Swept Away is obviously a whole nother dimension of that. I just watched the recording of Big Brother, Little Brother doing Murder in the City video. I think Playbill featured it just a couple days ago.
Yep.
And my gosh, them doing that kind of harmonizing with two people performing that song of Scott's it floored us.
Yep.
Those guys are so good. They're so good.
I always felt that May It Last was a love story between two brothers. That's how I tell people. That's my description of it.
I like
Definitely.
that. I like that. That's so true. So is there a chance that Broadway could do another extension?
I don't think so. No, this will be it on the 29th. So that's it. And then we'll have to wait and see if this thing could ever get legs to tour. But I'm going to do everything within my power to make it happen.
It's really too bad, with all the critically acclaimed stuff, the being named one of the top 10 best new musicals by Entertainment Weekly just a couple days ago. They're talking Tony Awards possibly for John, and who knows what else. But it just comes down to money with Broadway, doesn't it?
Well, it does. And then if life was fair, the Avetts would be
right.
They would be in Taylor Swift's
right. They should be.
But I think there's so many bands now that the Avetts have sort of helped. I kind of look at it. It's weird. It's like when Nirvana had their moment. Like, I was a fan of, again, Joy Division, the Bunnymen, The Cure, all of those bands, REM even, helped sort of jostle the door open to where Nirvana could walk right through it, and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam. And I kind of feel like the brothers have done that for quite a few acts that are doing big business. And they got to sing a song with Noah Kahan here.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's probably 5-6 months ago now. And in Charlotte, and first thing out of his mouth when he meets him, I was standing right there, and he said, "I would have never written a song if not for the two of you."
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that? And now he's blown up.
Oh, he's one of the biggest acts in the world right now.
It's so funny that you think Brandy Carlisle,
Tyler Childers, Zach Bryan, Lumineers,
and now Sierra Farrell too.
Yeah.
She's going to totally explode in the next year. She's already blowing up.
Yeah, and we worked with her for 5 years.
She's so good. Oh my God, she's
great
so
singer.
Good. And she was one of yours, right?
Yeah, we managed her for 5 years, and for whatever reason, we're not together with her anymore. That's just business.
Yeah, it's business. Business is interesting, in the music business especially. All right.
Why don't we talk about the Avett, since this is the year. So Dolph, when you made your prediction about this being the year of the Avetts, was that a kind of a nod and a wink to what was going to happen with this wonderful puppet show?
Well, I knew that was sort of brewing.
Yep.
I knew all this stuff was brewing, but I think every year is going to be the year of the Avett, sort of. So,
of course.
But yeah.
So is new stuff coming in 2025 with the puppets, or?
Yes. I just better not say, but it's.
Well, how about this?
Only my mom listens to the show.
You can blink once or blink twice when I say this, but my prediction, and I've said it on a previous show with Todd here, is that all the wonderful music videos that the brothers did this year with the album. We were all you don't see a lot of music videos, frankly, from a lot of artists these days. And they put out 4 or 5 of them this year that were wonderful, but none of them featured the puppets. And I thought, hey, there should be a music video that features the puppets, right?
Well, I think you're that is not. I don't think that.
Maybe there's licensing problems. Or I don't know. Like
no. I think I will say this: you're warm.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all you need to say. That's all I need.
You're warm.
All right.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to Vegas just yet.
Right.
With your prediction, but I would say you're in the ballpark with some. You're in the ballpark. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, but it should be fun. It's
the puppets. Let's say this. Let's we'll take that and pivot. The puppet. I mean the Avetts themselves. I got to experience them live this year at.
So did I.
I think 3 shows. It was so magical. I mean, first of all, just hearing the shtick from the brothers every time, like explaining why, and they would change it for every city to kind of make it special. So for me, it was such a cool experience. I mean, they look like everybody on stage looked like they were having as much fun or more fun than the audience, just having that show with the puppeteer. So, what's your take on it all?
Well, it's a big kid moment. I mean, it kind of brings me back to being a kid watching the Muppets on TV.
Yeah, definitely.
But it also brings me to, I mean, some of my I was not a school fan. I don't really mince those words. And that's my own fault. I was not the best of students, but one thing that I loved is when we would have puppets come to our elementary school. That was the coolest thing to me. I don't know if y'all had those. We would, all classes would go to the gym and they would have these local outfits, I guess, that would tour the school systems and put on these puppet shows. And I loved that. So it kind of reminds me of that in a way. So yeah, no, I think it's fun, and I can't wait to see kind of what evolves from it.
Whose idea was it to do this?
Well, that's a good question. I would lean towards Scott, but I'm not 100% on that.
That would have been my guess too, that it was Scott's idea.
Yeah, but I've talked to Scott so much about it, and I did not even really. I don't know if I've even asked him ever what was the genesis of that idea. So
I'm just, again, going back to what I said before about loving to see how people put together things behind the scenes. To me, it was so fascinating watching these performers. You know, they're all blacked out on stage with their costumes to be there. And then there's
so much work.
4 or 5 performers per puppet, you know, making that. And then obviously they put so much into creating a performance that was suited for the song. That was very intentional. Like so much art and artistry seemed like it was put into that. And then just, I think after one of the shows, we saw 3 of the performers out on the sidewalk just as we were leaving the arena. They were beaming, but when we sort of, you know, gave them our gratitude for putting on such a show, you could tell they were like, it was such a point of pride.
Yeah, they were so excited. I remember I was there the first night it happened in Philly. So it was the first night. And that was, I think it was maybe the first night they had actually seen the brothers play live.
Wow.
And they were so excited to be side stage watching the Avett Brothers on stage. So, and then they practice. So all the shows I go to, they practice like during the day, and it is a art form for sure.
Totally.
So, it's a really special thing. It's magical to me. So
it is. I love watching them have fun on stage with it. I mean, you can see the joy on everyone's face during each performance, and it's great. Will there be new puppets in 2025? Did I already ask that?
Yeah, you
don't know.
I don't know, and I don't think so, but I don't know that for sure. I'm not positive.
Well, we know there will be puppets at the New Year's Eve show for
announced that.
We just saw I think an image was shared with Father Time with Valiant Thor this past week.
And I do know if anybody is a part of the VIP, they can get their photos. We have the VIP kind of party that goes on. You can there will be a segment where the Avetts, the puppets Avetts, will be coming to the VIP party to take photos with people that are part of the VIP party.
I may have to upgrade then. You're telling me this now, and I think I just have Pitt.
Yep. Upgrade time. I should try to get the puppets on the show. I just thought of that. That'd be fun.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so good.
That would be so much fun.
That would be so great. You got to do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
They really have personalities. I mean, you see, someone was saying that they felt like in the actual Muppets, they feel like Seth is is Animal on the drums. If you think back to like when Seth used to play drums on stage, right?
Yeah.
So they really do capture the emotions of each, or the personality of the brothers really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely love it. All right. So as we look into 2025, can you say anything? Is there new music on the way? I know we've heard rumblings of like the Seth and Jessica Lee Mayfield album possibly coming. Tim Mossberger was telling us that he thinks they recorded something already that was maybe coming out next year. Can you tell us anything?
Well, my lips are sealed. I got to do a Go-Go's, Terry Hall. I will say that there's going to be some projects that will be coming out. And there's going to be two that nobody, I don't think, will see coming.
Oh, that is a tease right there.
It is a tease.
Whoa.
But two things that we've been working on, or they've been working on for quite a while, a long while. So,
okay. Well, I am extremely excited to find out what that is. Is that going to be early in the year, mid-year, late year?
No, I don't think it will be. I think we're looking. One will be mid, and one will be late. If these things stay the course, that's what we'll have. And that's not the Seth Jessica thing. Yeah. These are two other things that are, but yeah. So real exciting and real cool and fun and unique and kick ass. So,
and art takes time. I mean, you can't rush these things. So, Todd, I feel like you've now assumed the role of the intrepid reporter who's trying to get secrets out of the stars of the MCU or something. Like,
I always try. Dolph's very good.
Good try, yeah.
At hinting, teasing, but not telling. And you know what? What you told me though is good because you got me excited, and anyone listening to this is going to be excited for 2025 now. So
any year when there's new Avett stuff is a good year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Ramseur will be celebrating 25 years.
Nice.
Oh wow.
So I'm considering putting together a little double album vinyl record of some things, and maybe try to get a couple exclusive rarity kind of things from some artists. And
you should do a t-shirt too.
Yeah.
What a t-shirt. I'll buy a t-shirt. Let's go.
We'll probably do that. I think we're going to be sponsoring, we're not the main sponsor, but we'll be doing some sponsorship at Merle Fest, which that's a festival we're always proud to be associated with.
You know what? I'm going to Merle Fest for the very first time this
great
year. So
well, that's a great festival.
I'm excited.
And you can't you can't go wrong. You'll see a lot of world-class talent.
How have you never been to Merle Fest, Ryan? I'm shocked by
you know what? My day job is in the tech biz. So my running joke that I've actually never told anybody is like, I graduated from NC State, went to work for IBM. Joe went to work for IBM, I guess, right? That was his story. He went to work for IBM and hated it, and then decided he was going to do music.
Right.
Yeah, that's paraphrasing. And but me, I stayed at IBM for 25 years. So I literally, this is the first year I haven't had tech travel. Like it's very busy tech travel season.
Gotcha. Okay.
With tech conferences, and this is the first time I know that I don't have commitment, so I'm like, hey, I'm overdue. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
It's enjoy it.
On my bucket list.
It's special.
Yeah.
All right. So Dolph, you're a big music guy. We wrap it up with, what have you been listening to lately? Anything new, or are you still listening to old stuff? Or
well, I've been listening to a lot of Dion, and not Celine Dion. No disrespect to Celine, but I don't know if y'all like Dion was a late 50s sort of rock and roller, but then he made some really great records that really never got a lot of publicity. Or a great singer. I mean, he's one of great singer. I've been listening to a lot of Otis Redding. Recently, I got to meet Otis Redding's booking agent. He's like 83 years old. And so I've been on a big Otis Redding kick. And he told me that he's from Macon, Georgia, and he met Otis in 58 or 59. I mean, Otis Redding died when he was 26 years old.
Jeez.
And he died in 1967, I think. But Otis, he was just such a great leader, great band leader of men, was a great husband, great father. And but anyway, so I've been really into Otis Redding. As a matter of fact, he told me that a couple of days before Otis died, Otis brought in a couple of tapes for him, 2 tapes, and said, "I want you to hear both of these. You know, the guys were making fun of me in the studio with this whistle, and y'all let me know which one you like." And it was Dock of the Bay, sitting on the dock of the bay, and this guy told.
It's a good song.
He told him, you got to keep that whistle in there, Otis.
Oh man, yeah.
Wow.
It's legendary.
So not long after that, I mean, 4 or 5 days later, Otis died in a plane crash.
Eesh. Yeah, I always think about that when these amazing artists die so young. How much music we lost out on. You know? That's so sad to think of. 6.
Let's see what else. So I've been kind of listening to some. There was a band called the House Martins that came out in 85, 86. There's a song that they have that I really love. And then Van Morrison has got this song called When the Healing Has Begun. And I have listened to that song, I would say 80 to 100 times over the last month.
Wow.
I kid you not. I just got wrapped up in that song. I do a lot of walking during the day, and there's times where I have listened to that song 2 hours straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's dedication.
That is dedication. So, but if anybody's got any recommendations on things I should be listening, please send them my way. I'm always got an open ear, and I love music.
What's your thoughts on the Red Clay Strays?
Oh, they're really good. Yeah, I've heard some good songs. And my guess is I need to really listen to the full record, because I'm sure there's some songs on there that probably are better than the songs that get played on the radio.
Yeah. Both of their albums are phenomenal.
Yeah, one thing I like about them is they're very patient. Like I love a lot of songs where if the listener puts in the time, there's a big payoff. And it seems with their songs, like they're not in a rush, and it's patient. And it's like the Prince song that Sinead O'Connor had, Nothing Compares to You. Like that song probably now would not be a hit, because it takes the listener. You got to put the time in with that song, but there's a big payoff if you listen to the song and put the time in. That's how the Red Clay kind of Strays come off to me. And then one other song I've got to add is A Rainy Night in Soho by the Pogues. I have done a deep dive on that song, and that is a masterpiece. I know Springsteen, when he was recently touring in Ireland, he would start off with that song.
Oh, cool.
But it's a beautiful song. Great lyric.
Can I give you a different twist on this same question? I wonder, since we're in December now, what is Christmas music your thing, or do you have go-to Christmas
I love
music?
Christmas music. So I love Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. That's maybe my favorite
That's
Christmas
what made me
song.
think of that.
But then I love also Billy Squire had a great song, Christmas song that doesn't get played very much. The Waitresses had Christmas rapping. That was a great one. Then I love, of course, I even love Band-Aid. Do They Know It's Christmas? And there's a wonderful documentary that's just been within the last 2 weeks. It's a behind the scenes. It's an hour and 13 minutes long of behind the scene footage of them making that. Wow. And you realize that Boy George could sing his ass off. Like if you watch it, you'll be like, whoa, I did not know this. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some others. I love Jingle Bell Rock by Bobby Helms. Classic. And then I love Brenda Lee's Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
You do any of the old Sinatra, Nat King Cole, stuff like that?
Oh, what a Nat King Cole is. I mean, that's
legendary stuff.
Legendary. Yeah, it stops me every time. Then I even like Burl Ives, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a rocking.
Yes.
I've listened to that on some sound system.
Yep.
Pretty rocking song. Yeah. So,
and I love covers of all these. A lot of these have really great covers that are, modern artists that try to do their own take. So you hear a lot of that, of course, with Last Christmas, but the Bernie sisters just put out the Last Christmas cover.
Oh, really? It's really good. In that documentary on Band-Aid, George Michael's, when he sings his ass off. Yeah. Like you realize right away, wow, what a vocalist. And then Paul Young, who starts off the Band-Aid song, what a singer. Yeah. Y'all need to check that out. If you haven't, go on YouTube.
All right, I will.
It's an hour and 13 minutes long. It's fascinating.
What's it called again?
Well, all I know is if you just search Band-Aid documentary, and it's an hour and 13 minutes. So I think it was shown on the BBC about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and it's now up on YouTube.
Oh, cool. I'll check it out.
There's nobody is there's no narrator to. I mean, it's just this behind the scene footage that they've put together, and you're kind of like a fly in the wall in the studio because they were kind of going at this by the seat of their pants. This all happened within like a 48-hour period of writing the song, putting it together, and getting everybody in a room to record it. Where Quincy Jones, from what I understand, I have not seen the documentary on the We Are the World. I never was a fan of.
That's a great documentary, though. I've
heard it's great. I never was a fan of that song. That's why I have not watched that documentary, because I just didn't like the song. I love the calls up, like what they were doing. But from what I understand, like Quincy wrote lines for people because he knew the keys that they kind of could sing. Where this thing in England, it was all a bunch of new wave post-punk kind of artists that was just thrown in a room and have at it, and let's see what we come up with. I just think there's some lightning. There's some lightning in the bottle in it. You got to watch it.
I'm going to check that out tonight.
Really good.
Before
I was just about to say those same words. I think you're right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dolph, thank you so much. We're out of time. This was a lot of fun. We learned a lot. We have exciting things to look forward to in 2025 from the Avett Brothers. That was exciting enough for me tonight, but I love talking music with you. It's great having you on, getting that recap. Really appreciate it, and I hope we run into each other down the road somewhere else. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thank you so much. Honored to be here.